Cryptocurrency is digital money, essentially. When you're talking about the cryptocurrency aspect, now there's crypto tokens, then there's cryptocurrency, right? Yeah. And it's essentially, I mean, you think of it the same way if you go spend a credit card, you understand me, you utilize digital money, it's the same thing to me. The only difference is this particular credit or this particular currency is connected to what's called a blockchain. There's unbreakable system, you know, that was made trustless to where you can create a system of value and it can't be corrupted, right? So, you know, the beautiful thing is like the dollar is you have something that can't be it can be counterfeited, but there's ways to tell whether it's counterfeited or not. On the blockchain, it's the same thing, right? And the beauty of cryptocurrency, well, being able to create this anonymous money, because you can send transactions instantly without actually dealing with a bank. So there's centralized currencies, there's decentralized currencies. Centralized currencies are ones that's connected to an institution such as the bank, or it is specifically ran by the owners or the creators of that token or that currency. Right? Now, decentralized is one that's completely ran by the people, right? Which means that you have the developers that create it, but they don't run it, right? It's ran off the blockchain, which is a system of nodes that is created, this new technology, and the system or the currency goes up and down based on the fluctuation of how the people deal with the market. Now, they update this particular technology, so on and so forth throughout time to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? Or that it gets better over time because there's going to be issues and problems that arise, especially when you got so many people getting into this new adoption, right? And then you have cryptocurrencies that represents different projects and businesses. So some of these currencies have utilities, right? They may represent something you can do on the blockchain, right? And then you have cryptocurrencies that represents blockchains themselves, right? System. Now, I educate people on, you know, what's the blockchain, how's it made, what is made, you know, what's a cryptocurrency, how can you tell if one is valuable, when do you know when not to get into a project, things of that nature, and that's when we go into tokenomics, understanding the broader system of why different cryptocurrencies are adopted, right, and how you get them to actually grow. And for me, it's like looking at a crypto is like looking at a stock. Yeah. You understand me? The only difference is cryptocurrency, for the most part, is going to give you much higher gains than a stock, right? You could invest in some cryptos and they have a 4,000% return in a year. When you're talking about a stock, you may be talking about 30, 40, 50% within a year, right? Sometimes only 10%, right? Sometimes you're on a negative. Same thing can happen in a crypto. It's a volatile market. You know, but when you look at something like Bitcoin and it just reaches all-time high, you're talking about something that you could have put money in at any other point in time, you understand me, and you would have made a percentage return on that, right? Because Bitcoin is now $60,000 per token at the time of this recording, right? And most likely it's going to go up by the end of November, probably have a drop in December, then rise back up towards the end, later throughout the year. But, you know, cryptocurrency essentially was created. You know, you're talking about cryptography, right? Something that is meant to be cryptic, a system that can't be broken into, but essentially can be disguised. And this was something that was created on the blockchain, and at first was essentially utilized on the Silk Road, right? But also it was ways that it was created in different countries and different places to where you want to have anonymous transactions, right? To where a person can hold increments of value without it having to be the dollar. And the dollar, of course, is dying and dead. Them old white man, you understand me, about to get put to their grave, you understand me, and never use it again because the dollar is not backed by anything. When it comes to the blockchain, we can eliminate every single issue that we got, right? Because even if all of us got a coin, that's just a smart contract that filters into each other. So as my coin go up, yours go up. So the biggest issue that we got in our community is trust and agreement. We can't create cooperation. America was funded by families who put together trust and treaties. That's what America operates off. If you take away the treaties and the trust that America was founded off of, America don't have a leg to stand on. So at the end of the day, any issue that we have is based on us not looking for the solutions, because the solutions exist. So we can talk about the problems till we blue in the face,
But at the end of the day, the white boys is running all the institutions, they owning all the platforms, and they working together. So the thing that we need to ask is for all of those who are in agreement, right? Who want to come together for a common denominator, how come we, those who speak about the solutions, not working together? So really it's more so about, all right, let's say if all of the leaders of the culture right now decided to come together and you want to do fractional ownership of something, or you want to have a ownership of a coin together, you can easily turn that into $1 billion. It's very simple. A coin is based on tokenomics.
Content or have a decent lifestyle. And you can meet them there. You know, that's not the goal of jobs. Jobs gonna tell you what they feel like you're worth. You're either gonna accept it or you're gonna be jobless. Our people, ethnic people, are overly in love with entertainment. To be honest, you're not gonna really capture their minds unless it's some form of entertainment. And I can give you a gazillion examples. Like if you look at the attention to detail when it comes to the educators of this era, and you look at the following of an athlete, you'll see it. Like they love entertainment, they love drama. So essentially, what I had to do was trick black people into helping themselves. If I'm gonna be real with you, I put it in the form of game because it got to be entertaining. It had to be colorful. It had to be lights. It had to be something to make them laugh. And everything I create is always family based. So that was a must too. I mean, that was one of the biggest reasons for making it a board game. But I saw through example, like with just writing a plain curriculum and telling people to take a course, the reception wasn't the same because people just, it's unfortunate, but we like, I don't know, I really don't have to go into it because the signs is in front of us. If you pay attention, you'll see it, but people are much more enthralled in entertainment. So basically what you have to do is you have to create edutainment. And edutainment is just entertainment and education intertwined. So that was the whole goal of the board game, is just to be real. Like in this line of work, a lot of your people, you're going to have to, you know, it's the medicine and the candy method. You're going to have to trick them into helping themselves. Like, I can pull out a book right now and be like, bro, this book got the keys to life and the fountain of youth. And he may second guess it, but if I jump out, you know, with $100,000 cash and, a decent looking stripper and be like, yeah, bro, I'm living a life. You should listen to me. Not all of us, I'm not going to generalize all of us, but many of us would then listen, you know, so it was all marketing, and it was also me just finding out a way to infiltrate the black home. That's why I tell people all the time, like, it's not a game, it's the game. So I'm going to give you an example. Most of my people don't know about trust funds. Most of my people going through divorces and losing half of what they got, or they're not protected from the IRS, the government XYZ, because they don't know how to, allocate their funds into a trust and make sure it's privately protected. So, I mean, that's one of the things I know. Trade lines. A lot of my demographic and my peers went to school with a friend from another demographic who graduated to a Benz and a house. Meanwhile, we were just trying to figure out how to keep gas in the little 95 hoopty we had in the year 2000. But what that stems from is that you have other demographics and nationalities. They're educated on credit, right? They'll attach their child to their credit line, run up an 800, and by the time they son 18, 19, he got the buying power to get anything in the world. Meanwhile, we grow up with phone bills in our names or no credit at all. Like, what I've learned too with the courses is that most people in my era, the millennial generation, and of my ethnicity, only thing they know about credit is just that they're supposed to pay it on time. Like, credit is a strategy-based type of currency. It's not something you just leverage and you just use it and pay. No, it's a certain way to leverage it to make sure you win. So a lot of them are based off traditionalism. Mm-hmm. A lot of them were heavily based off the teachings and the thought process of success of our actual oppressors. Mm-hmm. So what happens 3 generations later is that the grandchildren of our oppressors are the actual people who may be teaching our children. Mm-hmm. So for me to hold my child to a standard where I celebrate him or punish him based off what his oppressors deemed was the keys to success was just crazy to me. Mm. And I ain't gonna say I always thought that, because I didn't. Like I said, my son was in public school, but at a certain point I took him out because I began to realize, like, I don't know if they have it in the A, but they taught us about Pythagorean theorem. I don't know if they had it in the A, or even parallelograms. I know that's all over the world.
Absolutely.
But as I look at my journey, as I ain't gonna lie, I ain't go to college long. I got like 4 credits and left. It just wasn't for me.
Right.
But as I look at my journey and people around me, I begin to realize, like, to me, school has turned into like a daycare where adults take their children while they handle their adult duties. Because a lot of the information that they're giving in there don't really benefit them long term.
So I looked up the definition of revolution. It's a sudden, radical, and complete change. So, you know, those are strong words when you really think about it, right? But it's appropriate because all of this for us, for me, my partner Troy, we started in the classroom. We started teaching kids that was 14 years old for summers, over 10 summers, financial literacy. And I realized that the best form of education provides hope, confidence, and optimism. But unfortunately, you know, coming from working class, poor, middle class, whatever type of class environment a lot of us come from, we had a miseducation. And that miseducation leads to self-doubt, pessimistic thoughts, and fear. And these things are ingrained in us at a very, very young age, and it carries with us to the time that we die. So where does this start? Where does this miseducation start? It doesn't just start at school. School's only one part of it. Family, environment, culture, and school. So the first thing I want to talk about is family. This is something that a lot of times we don't even realize that we're dysfunctional. And not only, you know, our relationships and the way that we deal with each other, but in our relationship with money and finances. So when you hear things growing up like stay out of grown folks' business, what does that mean? How are you supposed to learn business if you stay out of grown folks' business? You're supposed to educate kids. You're supposed to tell them this is how bills are paid. This is the responsibilities of a man. This is the responsibilities of a woman. These are things that should be encouraged.
I started asking myself, how do I buy back my freedom? Right? Like, how do I buy it back?
That's powerful.
Right? Because it's not given to you. Just like, you know, chattel slavery. Like, I'm not gonna give it to you. You gotta buy it back. You gotta fight for it. So I was like, how do I buy back my freedom? With the stock market. Because you can't save to invest to get it back. Right? We know that. You can't work a bunch of hours to get it back. So the next best thing for me was dividends. So I was like, okay, what do I use every day? My phone bill, AT&T, and I have an Apple product. So because AT&T pays a 5%, 6% dividend yield, I was like, okay, I need this many shares of this business to pay off my phone bill every 4 months, because AT&T pays quarterly, which is every 3 months. Disney pays semi-annually, which is twice a year. And then you have some businesses that pay every month, right? So I was like, okay, if I can get AT&T to pay my phone bill through their dividends 4 times a year, then I have essentially bought back my freedom, because I no longer have to work to pay for that phone bill. AT&T paying it for me. And so you can do that with if you're in Georgia, you can use Southern Company, which is another great dividend business. How much is your phone bill? I mean, your light bill, $80, $100. They pay like a 3-4% dividend. Figure out how much the dividend is per quarter, how many shares you'll need of that business, and then let that pay your light bill. So if you can use your dividends from a business to pay your light bill and your phone bill, you've bought back some of your freedom. Because now you can take that money and invest it and do something else with it.
Absolutely.
That's optimizing your money. The money is just a tool. We know that much. So if we can use the tool to do what it's supposed to do, then we get maximum value for it.